みんなに笑顔と幸せを。
Howdy, Lad here. What's happening? Happy Valentine's Week to everyone. This week in COTC, we got one of the newest collaboration happening for the first time. Dragon Quest. I've never played any of the games myself as the combat seemed too slow for me, but I have heard great things about it. Anyways, this week we're getting a new traveler for the collaboration, EX Molrusso. He is a dancer of the Domination faction and hailing from the Dragon Quest collaboration. This is the next power creep for those that have Dark Priestess and to those that don't, as her passive gimmick gives her front row access to exploiting all weaknesses in the game. This by itself is currently one of a kind, and many folks in the JP side are still rocking her, and her entire kit is a little bit of everything that's good, but her main selling point of course is her allowing your team to exploit all weaknesses in the game. But with that, let's go ahead and check her out. Sayaka Senbongi is her VA, just like the OG Molrusso. From this enemy list here, I don't know too much about these characters, but let me know if you recognize any of them. With that, let's go ahead and mosey on to her notable damaging skills. Her first attack is an SP cost of 28. It's a 2-hit random target staff physical damage attack, potency 75. Now, Playful is part of her passive, and we'll get more into that when we get there. When this ability is casted by Playful, this becomes a 3-hitter, and it lowers shield points regardless. Her second ability is an SP cost of 46. It's a 2-hit random target sword damage attack, potency 1 Tony. It has a small chance to lower physical attack by 10% for 2 turns. At max boost, this becomes a 6-hitter with a potency of 70. Her third ability, from an SP cost of 62 to 50, it's a 2-hit AoE axe damage attack, potency of 80. If the ability is casted by Playful, this becomes a 4-hitter. And then for her last ability, SP cost of 86, that becomes 69 once you level it up. It's a 3-hit AoE fire elemental damage and inflicts combustion for 2 turns. This has a potency of 80, and at max boost, this becomes a 5-hitter. Now for her EX skill, after 3 turns and 2 usages per battle, it's a 8-hit AoE fan damage attack, potency of 30. Then for her ultimate, at level 1 to level 20, she goes first and she gives one ally potency up of 100% and a 10,000 to 100,000 damage cap up for 1 turn. And she also gives them Legend for 4 turns, and Legend is a 5% to physical attack, elemental defense, and physical defense. And if she used this on herself, this becomes a 2-turn. She gets the potency up and the 100,000 damage cap up for 2 turns. Now for her notable support skill, her first one is an SP cost of 90. She gives the front row 25% to 200% ultimate gauge up, and if this ability is casted by Playful, she also gives them a 50,000 damage cap up for 2 turns. Her second support skill, from 50 to 40, she gives the front row a 15% attack up for 2 turns, and if this ability is casted by Playful, she also gives them 15% damage up for 3 turns. And lastly, for her notable support skill, it's an SP cost of 38. She restores front row's HP by 65%, and if this is casted by Playful, this reaches all allies, and they also get a 1 BP restore. Now for her passives. At the end of her turn, she gives herself 1 time of Playful, and you can only accumulate 3 at max. So what is Playful? After she uses a skill, she randomly uses another skill from the slots 1 to 3 up to 3 times until the Playful points are consumed. And when she uses those abilities at random, no BP or SP are consumed. So let's say, for example, you have 3 stacks of Playful onto her. She'll activate one ability, she'll activate another ability, and she'll activate another ability, and then another ability. So essentially, she goes 4 times. For her second passive, she gives herself 1 times of Playful, when she uses 3 more PP. Now for her third passive, after Playful has been activated, after 1 time, she gives the front row 20 SP regen for 1 turn, and this is at 6 stars of course. And if she uses Playful 2 times, she gives the front row a 50% chance for Enlightenment 1 turn, and if she uses Playful 3 times, she gives the front row a 100% chance for Enlightenment for 2 turns. Now what's Enlightenment? Enlightenment allows characters to exploit all weaknesses with battle skills. Then lastly, for her last passive, she gives herself buffs from her own Playful points that are stacked. She has 2 or more, she gets 999 speed, and if she has 3 or more, she's able to exploit fan physical weakness. Then she has a 10% in all elemental resistance. Taking a look at her stats at level 1 Tony, it's a little bit all over the place. She doesn't really excel in anything. Her SP pool is the biggest thing that she has going for her, and then nextly her physical attack, and then her speed. You can definitely use her as a physical DPS, but don't be expecting big amounts of damage, similar to the top DPS that we have now. She'll be mainly here for her exploits. So now with that, for the main question, should you pull? She's quite fantastic. Her gimmick is a bit weird at first, and it's going to take you a little bit of playing around to understand, but once you get the hang of it, she's going to allow anyone to shape shields. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to build up her play points. She's going to be a great addition to anyone's team, as she can provide so much utility for both newer and older travelers. Other than her exploits, her ultimate is essentially the same as Solon and EX Ringyu's ultimate. She's kind of like a all-in-one package support. While her attacking abilities are not the greatest, she does make up for that with her passives and ultimates. Next, looking at her A4 accessory, it's a 140 to SP, and the passive gives a small chance to reduce both physical physical and elemental defense by 10% for 2 turns, and also gives the front row a small chance for legend, which again is a 5% to all stats. This accessory is decent. It's a small chance of inflicting defense down. Is always great to have as we're moving towards a meta where many characters are doing a fair amount of damage even while the enemies still have shields. You're gonna want to give this to your dedicated breaker or any attackers at this point. This is a nice to have accessory, but recall that these travelers are a collaboration, and so you're not going to be able to get their awakenings in the exchange tab, as that's not going to happen. Moving on, longevity. She's still being used in the JP side. Being able to exploit everything in the game allows for so much creativity with both newer and older travelers, like I said before. As of right now, the Rainbow meta is by far the strongest meta currently, with Zerk and his follow-up attacks. He and his dedicated crew are pretty much destroying everything in the game. There are folks out there who aren't even utilizing Dark Priestess anymore, and they focus on just inflicting as much elemental weaknesses that they can with both Lemire or EX Lynette. Now, of course, for most folks, having Zerk in the whole entire crew might not be a commodity, and because of that, I would urge a lot of us to pull for EX Molrusso. Now, the next burning question that many of us may have is, if I already have Dark Priestess, do I really need to pull? About 90 to 95% of the enemies in the game are weak to both physical and elemental weaknesses, so DP does fine there. You're gonna come across very few enemies in the game who are weak to only physical weaknesses, and this is where EX Molrusso will shine. But where EX Molrusso does take the cake is, firstly, she doesn't require you to use her ultimate for this exploit to happen. This happens all in her passive skills. Secondly, talking about ultimates, she does have both EX Renew and Solan's ultimate. This allows you to perhaps bench EX Renew, or if you're still using him, Solan. Thirdly, her other skills, she's able to cast up to 4 skills at once. Of course, that's if you have 3 playful skills built up, and then of course her first initial cast. Now, the random fact of her selecting the skills at random from slots 1 to 3 can be definitely frustrating, but it also does allow her to be a decent shield breaker and a somewhat decent physical DPS with her EX skill, should you build her that way. Then lastly, she does have an ultimate gauge up ability just like Elrond, so if you need to get everyone up to 200% in one turn, she's able to do that. So essentially, she's able to satisfy many roles from all the characters in the game, and she does them all well, sort of like a all-in-one character. Now, of course, DP is quite good herself. She's able to increase active defense down cap to 50%, and also inflict sword and dark weakening, along with a 15% resist down to both physical and elemental resist. In the case that you already have EX Renew, DK, and DP, and a relatively decent sword physical squad, but in this case, EX Molrusso would be nice to have, but if you're low on rubies, then I would skip. The best way to put it, you want to think of EX Molrusso like the sister to DP that does a little bit more as a team support to all elemental or physical travelers. And then you want to think of DP as the sister that does a little bit more of enabling your team to deal a bit more damage. She tends to favor sword or physical travelers with her debuffs. So with that, hopefully that answers your question. But let's go ahead and finish up. Taking a look at her character design, she is in a fantastic shade of blue in her artwork, and that midriff is fantastic. It almost looks like she's being featured in a Playboy magazine. Her VA, 5 out of 5, still the same. Abilities, 4.8 out of 5. Again, she has a good amount of everything that you want in a support. With her support skills, she can give your team 1 BP, she can give them immunity to status ailments, she can buff your team's attack to both physical and elemental, and with her battle skills, she can inflict combustion, lower physical attack, and also break up to 3 shields regardless. And then of course, her ultimate, which gives any ally a 100% potency up. Next, longevity, 4.8 again. Again, she's still being used in the JP side, and she does a fantastic job there. Global buff, 0 out of 5, Ingeni. Time limited, 0.1 out of 5. This is again a collaboration, so chances are very low that we're ever going to see this collaboration again this year, but we'll see what happens in the future. Overall impression, 4.8 out of 5, the Exploiter. As we move forward, characters will be receiving an upgrade to their TP passives. When that does happen, EX Molrusso will have 3 stacks of playful at the start of battle, allowing for even quicker clears, but that's not going to be until the next big upgrade for COTC. But for now, she is quite good. If you don't have DP, this is your chance to nab one of the greatest exploiters in the game. Alright, so with that was it for EX Molrusso. I like her design and her sprite, so I'll definitely be pulling. I would settle her at Ultimate Awakening 2, and then just leaving her there. Any 100% potency skill is always great to have another use of, but anyways, let me know if you'll be pulling. Catch you next time. Take care of yourself like always. Flat out.